Good morning, Facebookers. Gabe Toth here from Gabe Toth Music Instruction. I will try to make it quick today. Yeah, right. I always say that. But anyway, welcome to Sunday. It's Super Bowl Sunday, and I am a Pats fan. I've been a Pats fan since 95 when I started going to college in Boston. Yeah, Boston up there. Parked the car in the garage. Go to Lowell and party, dude. Anyway, yeah. I'm dying to see Green Day. I can't wait to see the halftime show with Green Day and see what goes on there. And I guess there's another halftime show for the fascists. So, I never thought Kid Rock would be such a hillbilly. I thought he was cool. But anyway, what a way to unify a country. And then to say that it's a Christian show. Why do they have to throw that in there and just totally ruin that word? Anyway. Today's lesson, if you remember yesterday, okay, don't forget there's a contest. I am giving away an adult 3-month period of lessons, a half hour each week, in piano, guitar, bass guitar, whatever you want to study except voice, because voice is only an hour and there's special rates for that. But however, for every other thing that I teach, okay, and I do have performance level and professional level playing abilities on all the instruments that I teach. I wouldn't teach something if I couldn't play it. And there are some teachers in music that teach instruments that they cannot play, and they're okay because they have a piece of paper from a college that certifies them as a teacher. No, I do not have a Pennsylvania state certification to teach. Uh-oh, better turn this off now. But I have 30 years experience of teaching, 40 years in the music industry, and 85 5-star reviews. And again, it's not me I'm boasting about, it's the style of teaching. Again, you can have the greatest player in the world be your music teacher, but if they just sit there and you go there to watch them play really cool stuff and you're not learning anything, well, you're wasting your money. You're getting your dollar's worth with me because I pinpoint issues and problems that you may have and deliver positive results and transform you into a musician that you never thought you could be. And again, it doesn't matter if you're doing it if you're already a seasoned professional playing gigs, or if you're doing it for a hobby. I hear that often. It's like, oh, I only want to do it as a hobby. It's like, why are you saying that? You know, it's like, oh, you might as well just say to me, oh, make sure you don't make me work too hard or think too much. Okay, that's another setup for you to, a reason not to do it. So go into it with all positivity and that you're going to get the most out of what you can do. Now, I actually tuned the guitar today. Now, if you remember, because I'm going to show you how to read chord grids. And this is my trusty whiteboard again. And if you remember from yesterday, very important, how many strings are there? 6, okay? On your standard guitar, okay? And we want to know where they're at. The first string is the one that is the furthest away from you and the thinnest. Okay, why is that important? Because if you mess up the strings, the frets, or the finger numbers, you're going to end up playing the wrong notes and your chord or your riff and lick isn't going to come out properly. Okay, so a revamp from yesterday, string number 1 is the thin one, string number 6 is the thickest one closest to you. The frets are these boxes, okay? And when you press the frets down, the frets, the strings get smaller, okay? And then that's how we get our different tones. And of course, finger numbers, and those of you who may also know the piano, will make sure you don't confuse the finger numbers with piano finger numbers, because in piano, okay, you know, we have 5 fingers and we have the thumb being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. However, with guitar, we use 4 fingers, and your first finger is the pointer finger, the second finger is the middle finger, the third finger the ring finger, and of course the fourth finger the pinky finger. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to read chord grids, and I hope I can find my marker here. But if we look at this whiteboard, I cannot find my marker. Anyway, we look at the whiteboard. Yeah, okay, no marker. Anyway, we have what we call chord grids, okay? Now, this is where we put our chords, okay? Now, the chord grids, it's as if you're looking at the guitar like this, from this angle. So, left to right, we have the strings, okay? And then every box in the row, we have the frets, okay? So I'm going to show you a couple chords today, actually. And, yeah, and actually we're going to have to just imagine, because I cannot find my whiteboard marker right now. However, we're going to find a couple chords. So remember how we found the chords? Finger number. Finger number 1, we're going to go to the first fret of the second string. Okay? Finger number 2, we're going to go to the second fret of the fourth string. Finger number 3, we're going to go to the third fret of the fifth string. And we're going to play all 3 of those at the same time. Now, when you're pressing down the frets also, it's very important. Remember that we keep our fingers as if we're holding a ball, because we want to use the very tips of our fingers, okay, and kind of move them up so that you can get each note clearly, okay? Because if we let them lay flat, watch what happens. Our fingers want to do this, and then we got, okay, and then you'll get that dead sound, okay? That's because we're keeping our fingers down. We want to raise them up so that we use the very tips of the fingers, okay? So we have the C major chord, okay, which I just showed you. The first finger on the first fret of the second string, the second finger on the second fret of the fourth string, and the third finger on the third fret of the fifth string, okay? So that's the C major chord. And of course, we hold our pick, okay? Now I'm going to show you the G major chord, and there's 2 different ways to play this one. I found my marker. It was right in front of me. Anyway, here is our C major chord on the chord grid. So, remember what I told you. We have the frets, okay, finger 1, 2, and 3. So the dots are the frets that you press down, okay? So when you see a chord grid, here are the strings, left to right, and the frets are up and down. And in this case, I put the finger numbers on top of the dots, which are the frets, which we can see. There is the first finger on the first fret of the second string, the second finger on the second fret of the fourth string, the third finger on the third fret of the fifth string, okay? Now, I'm going to show you 2 ways to play the G major chord, because C and G, you will often see them together, okay? And there's different G chords, and right now I'm going to just show you the basic form. So we're going to have the G chord, okay? So we have, what do we have here? The first finger is going to go on the 2nd fret of the 5th string, okay? So, and then we have the first finger is going to go on, wait a minute. Yeah, this is backwards. Hold on. The first finger, yeah, I got to remember, it's the first finger goes on the 2nd fret of the 5th string, okay? The 2nd finger goes on the 3rd fret of the 6th string. The 3rd finger goes on the 3rd fret of the 1st string. So that's what the G major chord sounds like. And C and G often go together. So we have the C, which I showed you first, and then we're going to go to G. Okay. Now, can anybody guess the big challenge there in the beginning? That's moving them back and forth. Okay, that's why repetition. In music, basically anything, the only way you can get it is persistence, repetition, and patience. Okay, you have to do things 10,000 times to be great. Isn't that the scoop? So we have C, and then to G. Now that's it for today's lesson. Why? Because that's more than enough. And remember the exercise I gave you yesterday, 4 frets, to build dexterity and speed. And make sure you use all 4 frets. So you have the frets going up, and then you have them coming down. And you want to make sure every note is clear and precise. Okay, why? Because clarity and precision is more important than speed. Okay, it's better for us to take something really slow and get each note precise rather than trying to rush it and get it fast and mess up along the way. So there we have the C major chord and the G major chord. Okay, so take a snapshot of that or a screenshot. Okay, and that's the 2 chords, and I'll show you 3 chords tomorrow. The 3rd chord tomorrow that goes with it. Okay, any questions? Any comments? Have a great Super Bowl. I don't know if I don't know what to do with this butternut squash I have. But anyway, if you have any good butternut squash recipes, feel free to drop that in my direct message box, because I ordered groceries from Instacart, and the place where I ordered them from, they put a couple extra things that I didn't order in the bag, and one being a butternut squash. I'm like, what the heck do I do? Is that the one that looks like spaghetti on the side? But anyway, any good butternut squash recipes, feel free to send them on, okay? And again, I am Gabe Toth, and during the week I teach six days a week, okay, except Saturdays. Saturdays I try to have off, but it's not as important to me because I even teach on my days off if there's someone new that wants to take. Why? Because teaching music is not a job to me. I actually love doing it. I have a passion for it, so therefore it is not a burden to me. 40 hours a week. I'll gladly do it 80 hours a week because I love it, and I really feel that I can share my knowledge and pass it down or over to the adults and pass that knowledge on. So my number is 484-544-2541. Spread the word. I have free lessons here at lunchtime, and I will give you a little message every day of what the lesson's going to be about or what it's going to be on. Okay? Have a great day. God bless, and stay warm.